Hello and welcome to the English Box. Today we are going to talk about adjectives, comparatives and superlatives. So the first question is, what is an adjective? Well, an adjective is a word that describes a noun. The two most common kinds of adjectives are attributive adjectives and predicative adjectives. Attributive adjectives come before the noun, and predicative adjectives come after the verb. In the first set of examples, we can see the attributive adjectives big, old and small, the big house and the old man who lives in the small cottage. In the second set of examples, we have two predicative adjectives, big and sad. The house is very big and the film made me sad. So we've looked at adjectives. What is a comparative? A comparative is a word that describes the difference between two things. So we have an example here with two Hollywood stars, Scarlett Johansson and Julia Roberts. Scarlett Johansson is younger, prettier and more talented than Julia Roberts. The comparatives are younger, prettier and more talented. These three comparatives also display the three different ways we change an adjective into a comparative. So let's look at that in a little bit more detail. If you have an adjective with one syllable, you simply add ER. So young becomes younger, small becomes smaller, tall becomes taller, and fast becomes faster. If you have a two-syllable adjective finishing or ending in Y, then we remove the Y and add IER. So pretty becomes prettier, easy becomes easier, ugly becomes uglier, and busy becomes busier. If you have a two or more syllable adjective, then you simply add more before the adjective. So talented becomes more talented, and interesting becomes more interesting. So now we have two more Hollywood film stars, Brad Pitt and Johnny Depp, and we're going to compare the two. Brad Pitt is taller than Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is a better actor than Brad Pitt. Remember to follow the comparative with the word than. If you do not use a sentence or an auxiliary verb after the word than, then we use the object pronoun. So Brad Pitt is taller than Johnny Depp, or Brad Pitt is taller than him and not than he. So if you'd like to write 5 more sentences about Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt and leave them in the comments section below, and we can see whether or not you agree with my 5 sentences here. Brad Pitt is more famous than Johnny. Johnny is cooler than Brad. Johnny is funnier than Brad. Brad is richer than Johnny. And Brad is more tanned than Johnny. So moving on from adjectives and comparatives to superlatives. What is a superlative? A superlative shows that something has a feature in a greater degree than anything that it can be compared to. So for example, 3 more Hollywood stars. Nicole Kidman is the richest. Jennifer Aniston is the funniest. And Gwyneth is the most beautiful. Here you have the superlative form. If you have a one-syllable adjective, you add est. Tall becomes tallest, for example. If you have a two-syllable adjective, you remove the Y. If you have a two-syllable adjective ending in Y, this is, and you add iest. So funny becomes funniest. And if you have a two or more syllable adjective, then you add most before the adjective, or the most. So the most beautiful, for example. There are some irregular comparatives and superlatives. The first common one is good. In comparative form it is better. Superlative form the best. Bad in comparative form is worse, and in superlative form the worst. Far can be further or farther in comparative form, and the furthest or the farthest in superlative form. Further and furthest tend to be more common. and fun is normally used as more fun in the comparative form and the most fun in superlative form. That brings us to the end of the video. If you